Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for another special Fresh Fright episode. I am your host, Emma, and to take place of Allison today, we have the producer back in the studio.
Don't call it a comeback.
Whoa.
I've been here for years.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, putting suckers in fear. Okay, I'm sorry.
Well, we do live together, so we have been together for years.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It's like I need an extra podcast host. Who's it going to be? Oh, the guy that lives here?
I'm all, hey, I need to do a episode on this movie. You want to jump in?
It's better than being alone.
There you go.
You talk to yourself enough.
Whoa.
Sorry.
Actually, that's really funny. Have you heard that there's like some people that don't have inner dialogue in their heads?
What?
Yeah. And so I asked myself, I was like, shit, I wonder if that's me. And then one of my friends was like, no, the fact that you even asked yourself that means that you have it.
You asked your inner dialogue, is this weird? Dialogue responds, yes.
I also talk to myself literally all the time. But anyways, besides the point, you guys, we are so happy to bring you yet another Fresh Fright episode. Again, like I mentioned in our last episode, we're trying to make these a little bit more of a regular thing. And you know what? It just happens to be that the producer and I have AMC membership. So we've been seeing a lot of films and I want to get the word out. I want to talk about them. So here we are. Allison will definitely be joining on more of these. She's just been a little bit of a busy bee recently. So, and we are prepping for motherfucking Midsummer Scream this weekend. So she is also taking care of all of our outfits for that because she loves to do that. So shout out Allison. She's the reason why we are so well dressed.
But also this is going to be released on a Friday. We'll be at Midsummer.
We will.
So if you're listening to this on the way over to Long Beach, come find us.
Allie made friendship bracelets, and I think she's made already like 30 or 40 of them. So we always forget about them because she's been making them for our last couple cons. But this year we were like, we need to remember. So if you guys are at Midsummer Scream this year, this weekend in Long Beach, please come and find us. We do not have a booth, but we will be walking around all 3 days. So we'll give you a friendship bracelet, we'll give you a couple stickers, and we'll give you some high fives and good vibes.
Crispy high fives.
Very crispy.
I only have 5. There's only 5
I
high
got
fives.
5 on it.
Get it? 5? Because you got five fingers.
Yep, I got you. But anyways, let's get into the film that we are doing our little Fresh Fright on today, which is Weapons. Whoa.
Click, click.
Click, click, boom.
And contrary to popular belief, not a lot of weapons. You would think.
You know
this is going to have a lot of weapons.
Not a lot of weapons. And I'm going to get into that actually a little bit further into this episode because I have a lot of thoughts on like the name and just why weapons, why is this called what it is? But anyways, this film is about a quiet suburban town that is ripped from normalcy when 17 children vanish from a single third grade classroom. Weapons turns this eerie premise into a multi-layered exploration of fear, suspicion, and small-town tension. And this film came out just the other day. It came out on August 8th, I believe. It is directed by Zach Creggers. And if you don't know Zach, you ought to because he did his breakout indie horror success of Barbarian in 2022, which we have a full-length review episode on Barbarian. So if you want to go listen to that, please feel free and find that in our older episodes. And you know what? I feel like he did a damn good job kind of matching the anticipation and just like how good overall that Barbarian was. I felt like he did a really good job with his sophomore year film, or his sophomore film, I should say.
But I mean, not only is this so good and on the heels of Barbarian a couple of years ago, it's another original script. It's another original story and it slaps.
It slaps. It slaps. It has so many like different subgenres of horror and just the human psyche and like diving deep. Like we've got some like mystery horror. There's some like dark humor. And I want to say right now that I'm going to try my best to not spoil this film. I know you're going to try your best as well. We may have a couple just subtle spoilers, but hopefully it's nothing that you haven't already heard because there has been a lot of buzz about this film since it came out just a few days ago. So just please, that's your kind of warning here up at the top. I'm going to try my best, but y'all know me. I love to tell some details and I'm going to try really, really hard not to. But one thing I do want to say about this film is that this film takes place with, I think, like 5 or 6 different characters that we are getting all of their perspectives of this small town incident that has happened. The film starts with us kind of like just being thrown like immediately into the chaos, which I kind of like for like a horror film, because so many times we see horror films that have this really big buildup, this really big slow burn. And even though I think that this film could have moved along a little faster, I will say that I really liked that we dropped right into the action of these little kids being missing from this third grade classroom, and we don't know why.
It was told non-linearly too.
Yes.
So it is a different perspective of different characters kind of told from their start to finish of all the set events. But yeah, it starts by itself and yeah, literally thrown into everything that you already know what it's about is these 17 kids. They were all in school one day. The next day they weren't. They were all from the same class and they all left their house at the same time doing a stellar T-pose run out of their door. And it was cool. And I love that it started just kind of a belly flop in, like here's what it's about. And then kind of just hurling you right into this, like I was saying, non-linear storyline that gives you bits and pieces of information over time. But with that does have a tendency to make things run a pinch slower.
And this like sequence of loosely connected like chapters are from different perspectives of not only the teacher of the third grade classroom. We have one of the fathers who still doesn't know what's happened to his son. We have a local cop, the school principal, a neighbor, and then a child who is the one child that was actually left in the classroom. And he sort of holds a bit of a connection to kind of everything that's happening. But we don't find that out until really the end of the film.
And not only is it a child, it's a creepy child.
It's a bit of a creepy child.
Because it wouldn't be a horror movie without a creepy child.
No. The shifting viewpoints of these different characters totally keeps the audience unsettled the entire time. So even though there were times I felt like it was dragging on a little bit and I was like, okay, like let's get to the point. Let's get to the next like chapters. Each one offered these different like puzzle pieces without revealing like the full picture until later in the film. So it was really nice because you start to gather things yourself as the viewer that you're like, oh, okay, so this happened between this person. And some of the people are directly like related and they overlap in each other's chapters. And some people don't at all, which I also thought was kind of cool because it made it a bit unpredictable.
Yeah. And it also gives you a chance to connect with the characters too.
Yeah.
Because that's a lot of times you find really in any story, the writer needs to give you a reason why I should care about this person.
Totally.
And this way of doing storylines kind of forces you to see what they're all about. So now I'm connected to this person. So now whatever happens to them, I'm with them. I know their backstory now.
Yeah.
I'm connected to them.
Totally. And speaking of the people that are involved in all of these different like sub chapters throughout the film, Julia Garner, who plays Justine Gandy, she is the teacher. And she definitely delivers a very like layered performance. She's very kind of torn between her professional duty as a teacher, but she also has like a personal fear, and her quiet moments definitely carry as much tension as some of her more panicked ones. I love Julia Garner when she is in very specific characterized roles. And I'm talking like, I think I'm just going to put it out there. I think sometimes she could be a bit boring now that she's doing these more like quote unquote like regular roles versus her role as Ruth in Ozark. Like I think like that was such a breakout role for her, and she did so well playing that character, having the accent, having the attitude. You really felt like she was that person. And so I feel like now when I see her just as like with no accent, it feels so tame to me. And I'm hoping it's something that I'll just get used to over time, but I don't know if it carries as much weight in a performance for me. Like even in Wolfman, I was kind of like, and it sucks because I really do like her. And I thought she was fantastic in Ozark. She was also really good in that Anna Delvey show. Like she's so good at capturing these like very, very specific characters. But I don't know if her just being kind of like a normal suburban mom or a normal suburban teacher is really like paying off for her. I don't know. What are your thoughts?
I think that also just comes with having some of your breakout roles being in a very popular series.
Totally.
So like, I mean,
like it's so great for her.
This is a very over the top comparison, but I mean, let's look at like Emma Watson, for instance, from Harry Potter. You know, Daniel Radcliffe and Rupert Grint and all them.
Yeah, it's like they're kind of typecasted.
They're
or they were
typecasted.
for a very long time.
Yeah. I mean, it took Daniel Radcliffe how long to start doing roles where people weren't referencing and being able to see him as an actor himself rather than, oh, look, it's Harry Potter without glasses.
It's Harry Potter with a penis on stage. Took a long time to get there.
You brought that up.
I did.
That's very specific.
Well, that's exactly what I think of when I think of Daniel Radcliffe.
I think it's one of the first things he did. I don't even think he wasted any time.
Good. He went right in.
I'm no longer playing a child.
I'm not Mr. Potter.
Here's my penis.
Here's my penis. Okay, so moving on, we then have Josh Brolin, who I haven't seen in a hot sec. And he plays Archer Graff, and he is one of the fathers of the 17 children that have gone missing. He is definitely like really hardcore, very outspoken in a lot of the school meetings that they have about this like disappearance of all the kids. And he just wants answers, which I don't fucking blame him. I find it very surprising that, I mean, we really only see his perspective in this story, but I find it very surprising that we don't see a lot of the other parents putting in as much time and effort as he is to try to figure out what happened to their kids. But Julia Garner and Josh Brolin are kind of our two, like, I would say main characters. But then we also have Gladys, and that is played by Amy Madigan. I'm not going to spoil too much about her, but she definitely adds a lot to the plot. We don't really get introduced to her until a little bit later in the film. And every scene that she's in, I feel like it could just tip the story into another genre entirely. You just don't know what's going to happen with her. And I did read somewhere that there was something going on with like the cast, right? Like almost the entire cast.
This was supposed to start filming back in 2023, and filming got shut down before it even began because of the writer's strike.
Oh.
So Pedro Pascal was actually supposed to be in Josh Brolin's role.
What?
Because they had to wait through the writer's strike. They couldn't do anything until it was over. But once it was over, Pedro Pascal's like, yo, I am one of the 4 Fantastics. So he was no longer available.
Sorry.
So they had to recast not just Archer, they had to recast everybody except for the kid who plays like a little druggie that we learn about. He was like one of the only ones that was still from the original casting. They had to redo pretty much from the ground up.
Oh my God.
All these people. But I will say we all love Daddy Pasquale, but I actually have a hard time seeing Pedro Pascal in that role now after seeing Josh Brolin in it, because I feel like he did such a good job of this concerned, fed up local dad that gets shit done.
Fully agree. I mean, I love Pedro Pascal, and I know he can play that hardcore kind of father figure. I mean, we see that very evident as him playing Joel in The Last of Us. Great fucking series, by the way, and great video game. But I totally agree. I can't see anyone other than Josh Brolin, and I was really happy to see him. I mean, I don't think I've seen him since he was Thanos, and it was really awesome to see him in like a horror film that I would say is not this huge fucking mainstream blockbuster horror. So I thought that was really cool, especially with a director that this is his like kind of sophomore horror release.
Yeah. But regardless of all the issues with casting, this film was popular before it even came out, before it even started. Like when it went through its...
Oh, yeah.
I read somewhere that Zach Creggers put out his spec script and then literally within 24 hours was getting offers up the wahoo. He was getting offers from Netflix. He was getting offers from Universal, from Warner's, from New Line Cinema. And because with Netflix, wouldn't be in the theaters, obviously. Ended up going with New Line because not only was the price right, they were going to put it in theaters. And then another really funny thing, a little bit of drama, a little bit of tea, is Jordan Peele has a connection to Zach Creggers, which we brought up in Barbarian.
Yeah.
They have the same, I think they have the same manager.
Like manager, yeah.
Yeah. And Jordan Peele's production company, which Monkey Paw, which was through Universal, once they lost the bidding war, it was at the point that there was a $7 million difference and Jordan Peele was willing to take it out of his own pocket to be able to produce this movie. Universal was a little hesitant for some insane reason. And apparently, this might just be a rumor, but apparently Jordan Peele decided to fire his management because they lost the bidding war for this movie.
Oh, that's so fucking funny.
And with the way it took off, he has every right to.
Yeah. I think I did see some reviews on Letterboxd that were like, now I understand. Like, I get it. I understand why you would fire your manager.
But the original release for this film was going to be January of this year. But it did so well at test screenings and people were so crazy about it that New Line's like, well, we're going to make this a summer blockbuster.
Yeah, totally.
Because it was going to be one of those indie horror flicks that people loved. And they're like, cool, let's just throw money at the wall. Let's put it in summer. And it was against Freakier Friday and I think Sketch and killed it. I think it had I don't know the exact numbers, but I think it doubled the expectations for what the box office is going to be. And it's still in theaters.
I actually have some numbers, I think. Let me double check here.
I have the hard numbers. I have that the budget was 38 million. And as of August 12th, which was yesterday for us, it is currently at 92 million.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I was going to say, I think it made 42.5 million the opening weekend in the US and Canada, and then over 70 million globally.
Crazy.
Which was just a few days ago.
Yeah. And this is what a movie that the trailer gave you exactly what you needed to know. The trailer gave you what you find out in the first 5 seconds. It pretty much, the first 5 seconds, it just tells you exactly what this is about. What happened? These kids went missing. And then it tells you the story. And I have to give, kind of like together, I have to give a lot of credit to the trailer for not giving us so much information where we kind of really know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Something that also is kind of funny, since we've been seeing a trailer for this film called Keeper. Pretty much in the trailer, it just throws at you that this is a nonlinear storyline. This is going to be a story from two different people that are together. And I'm thinking, watching the trailer, I'm like, I kind of wish I would have found that out while seeing it.
But hopefully when we see it, it'll just be even more twisty.
I'd be hilarious if it actually wasn't nonlinear. I know. And there's just dialogue at the same time, just two different ears.
So we have quite a few themes that go on within like the entirety of this film. Just to name a couple that I've written down, like suburban dread, some like paranoia and blame. Definitely like parenthood and responsibility for sure. Some like societal anxieties. And one thing I wanted to touch on is this name of like weapons, because I feel like even when I first heard what this film was, I don't know why, you guys, I thought this film, for some reason, I was like, oh, does something happen where there's like a school issue? And I was like really freaked out because I knew it was about kids, a bunch of little kids, and then it was called Weapons. And I was like, oh God, please don't let this be like about like a school shooting or something. Like, I was like, I don't know if my heart could take that. I'm here to say that it is not. So nobody worry if you had that same thought as me.
One Tree Hill episode all over again.
Well, and my freaking high school had a shooting, so I'm like a little sensitive about it, but I wasn't there, so don't worry, guys. But the film Weapons, it refers to how one of the characters, they like kind of like manipulate and sort of like control people, and they're effectively like turning these people into like weapons to kind of carry out their will. There's a lot of themes too of just like control and like manipulation and consequences of using people as instruments. And so that's really where this overarching theme and, you know, hence the name of the film comes from. And I think that is so brilliant because I don't know, I just can't imagine this film being called anything else now that I've seen it. And it doesn't give anything away. That's like the best part.
Yeah, I was just thinking there's a limited amount of actual weapons in this. You would think. You would think if I didn't see, even with a poster, if I didn't even see a trailer, I saw weapons, I'm like, well, this is going to be about guns. But it wasn't. I feel like the title was really clever. I have to admit the movie poster has got to be one of my favorites.
Yeah.
It's so good.
I wish we could get one.
Yeah,
we just went to the movies last night, you guys, and we saw Strange Harvest. I don't know if we're going to do a Fresh Fright on that one, but definitely a fun time. Definitely go see it. But when we were leaving, they had posters of Together, so we snagged one. They actually had Naked Gun as well. I don't know if you saw that.
No, I did.
You did?
Even the only problem is I don't think you would let me put that one up.
Why not?
Oh, okay. I'm going to go get one then.
No.
I didn't think so.
They also talked about just some deeper themes, and I don't want to give like too much away, but also just like about how like people can like weaponize like their grief in certain ways too. Like you have these 17 children that have gone missing. Most of the parents are probably dealing with it in different ways. Josh Brolin's character he's going forward and is like, I need to figure out what's happening. Other parents maybe are not doing that. Julia Garner's character as the teacher, she's also dealing with some stuff there as well. And people are weaponizing their feelings on this entire thing and blaming her. That like kind of theme of like weaponization is really there. One thing that I thought that this film was going to be, and I'm so glad that it wasn't, is at first I caught myself sort of wanting this film to be like a witch hunt against Julia Garner's character because she's the teacher, right? And it's like, Why did all of her kids in her classroom disappear? Like, why just her classroom in this small town of Maybrook?
Are you thinking like pitchforks and torches?
Yeah, no, literally. Like, I mean, another thing that I think this film does dive into a little bit is small town groupthink. There's so many movies out there where enough people get something in their minds and people start going after someone, people's minds get easily influenced. And I'm really glad it kind of didn't go down that avenue, because I thought it was going there for a second, which probably still would have been an enjoyable film. But damn, it really took several turns. And that's all I'm going to say.
I do want to kind of talk about the tone of the movie specifically. One, how it was shot, how we use sound. One of my favorite things, because I'm deep-rooted a huge Alfred Hitchcock fan.
Yes.
And one of my favorite aspects of this was the use of silence. There were so many times that literally everything, not a peep, not even a sound. All I can hear is some coughs in the theater. And how powerful that is. Like, this had like a really good amount of scares, but it has that use of just pure silence, puts anybody on the edge of their seat. Nothing really has to be going on. And I just thought that was masterful. Also, with the way it was shot, a lot of quick turns, a lot of quick flashes of things. We didn't really hang out on any shot for too long, but when we did, it was always like a really well executed follow shot.
Yeah.
Something that you sent me, because I'm a big rollerblading guy. So there's this scene that she's at a gas station. She's got to run away from someone. She runs into the gas station, and it's a follow shot in between her running down these aisles. And obviously, usually can get that with a dolly, but it was a dude on rollerblades. And
he's like, how can we get this shot to be so quick and like,
and
just
stable.
just and like sharp?
This is used quite a bit, someone on rollerblades with a camera, because they'll have a steady cam on, but they can move fast, they can move agile, especially with someone good. And whenever I see it, I just get psyched, because I think maybe there is work for me somewhere. Like, I can hold a camera, I can blade.
Hey.
It was a lot of follow shots like that, and a lot of really dope 360 shots. We'd be following someone down like a hallway, then there'd just be this sick like Severance level 360 shot around them to the front of them.
Yeah.
But then there was a lot of shots of just one, silence, and two, nothing.
Yeah.
We would see something like a door open, and then it would be, kid you not, maybe almost 10 seconds of nothing.
Yeah.
It's all dark. You're like waiting. You're like, what the fuck? What's going to happen? What's going to happen?
I think something else that, cinematographer Larkin Seipel did was he like kind of turned everyday locations into like these uncanny spaces as well. So like bright daylight scenes were just as unsettling as like these nighttime scenes. And there was just that feeling overall of this town that is just in dread.
There's always clouds. It's
always
never a bright
clouds.
sunny day.
No.
There's always a gloom. There's always clouds over, because we have to imagine that might have been on purpose, because we also want to feel the weight of everything too.
Totally.
This is a dark, gloomy time. So we're not going to be showing a lot of bright sunny days.
No, absolutely.
So I really do feel like they did a really good job conveying the emotion that we are supposed to feel in the lighting, the color grading, the shots, the audio. I kind of just feel like everything was pieced together. The right team, I would say, was together for this one.
Yeah. And I think even just going back to the casting, like, even though I know I was kind of like harping on Julia Garner a little bit, I do feel like every person in this film was so well cast and so purposeful to like the character that they were playing. We've mentioned a character named Gladys a few times. She's like very eccentric, very, very bright.
Imagine an Aunt Gladys.
An Aunt Gladys.
If you have an Aunt Gladys, I can almost guarantee she probably looks like her. Way too much lipstick.
Yeah, a lot of lipstick on the teeth, kind of gross. You're like, ew, please don't come and kiss my cheek, please, because it's going to be nasty and sloppy. And she wears this like bright red wig that's cut in a very like interesting haircut, and she wears these very, very bright clothes. She's like arguably the most colorful person that we have seen in this entire town. That whole story too within itself, I thought was very, very interesting. If you guys follow us on Letterboxd, I left this amazing review, and I'm so sorry. I'm just going to say it because I'm really fucking proud of it. But if you have seen Weapons, my Letterboxd review is that Sarah Sanderson flew so that Gladys could run. And I hope that you guys get that reference. And I am thinking Sarah Sanderson from the one and only Hocus Pocus, people.
I totally forgot what mine was. You want to hear what mine was?
Sure.
If I could mindlessly get my cardio in like that, go ahead and fuck me up. That's
Yeah.
all I could think about was all this. There's
a lot of running.
There's a lot of mindless running.
Yeah.
Where I don't even think they're aware that they're running. So like, if you could just knock me out so I can get my cardio in like that, absolutely fuck me up. Let's go.
Be so nice. Something about the running that, you know, you guys have probably seen in trailers or just like people are making a lot of content. But Zach Creggers was interviewed and asked, why are you having people run in this kind of like almost like it's not really a T. It's almost like
really
a V.
T pose.
It's like an upside down V. I don't know. It's just, it's a very interesting like type of run. And he was asked like, you know, what was the significance of that? And he's like, oh, I just thought it looked creepy. I was like, we love that kind of an answer. Sometimes people just make decisions and it's not like Taylor Swift where there's 18 Easter eggs. Sometimes like something just happens and it's just because the person wanted it and it worked out. So like, I absolutely love that.
So something we brought up in Barbarian, which a lot of you might know, is so Zach Creggers comes from a comedy background, originally from the sketch comedy group, The Whitest Kids You Know.
Yes.
It's very similar to Jordan Peele. Someone that comes heavily from the sketch comedy background is able to make these wildly original, compelling horror movies. So this film itself also has so many good dark comedy moments where it's moments you shouldn't be laughing, but they're so funny.
I'm so happy you brought this up because that was actually a point that I wanted to touch on was there were genuinely several times where you and I were busting up laughing, where earlier in the film, I'm not going to lie, a couple jump scares fucking got me. I screamed. I don't scream in a lot of movies.
That was funny.
There was 1 or 2 times I think that I actually screamed and I was like looking through my hands because even though your girl loves horror.
I forgot about that.
Your girl loves horror, but in a movie theater, I get really, really scared. And so sometimes I have to watch just through my fingers as like a little bit of a protective shield. But yeah, like there were a few times I just like was laughing out loud. And for a horror movie to be able to take us on that roller coaster of emotions, it's just like, God, that's such brilliant filmmaking.
Yeah. Another thing that I had read, another interview with Zach Creggers, is obviously a lot of films go through a lot of test screenings before it's even close to being released. And he was saying that there was a lot more jokes originally. So in the test screenings, he made a very hard and fast rule. If the joke doesn't get laughs, it's out.
I
so
love that.
Every single joke that is in the movie means they got laughs during the test screening.
Yeah.
That's why they probably all hit.
Yeah.
But what was your overall thoughts?
Yeah, I'm sorry guys, we've definitely like bounced around a little bit, but you know, that's what these are for. Just little mini digestible
nuggets.
Oh, I love that little dino nugget. So
eat the head first.
My overall thoughts were I really, really enjoyed how different this film was. I felt it was like a very, very original script, original story. I loved all of the characters and how invested I was in each of their individual stories and then all of them together as a whole. I also loved all of like the deeper themes of just like grief, of weaponization, of like this small town kind of like paranoia. All of that was like super intriguing to me. I also really, really loved, like we mentioned, the fact that you were able to be like so terrified 1 minute and then laughing your ass off like another. There's not a lot of films that can really like blend those two spaces. And that's one thing that I think sometimes people think horror has to be scary all the time, and that is not true. It can make us laugh. And in fact, if it can make us laugh and make us scared and make us cry, it's really like doing all the things. I really, really loved that. And I also thought, I think at first, like I was like, oh God, this is like very long. Like I will say I did think it could have been like a little bit shorter in some parts, or at least some of like the individual character chapters could have been a little bit shorter. But when you look at it all as a whole, it was all so purposeful and really, really helped to craft the entire story. One thing that I wasn't like a super, super big fan of is kind of towards the end, we get a little bit of a kind of like sense of the supernatural, and we kind of like lean into that a little bit heavy. And I don't know if I like absolutely loved that. I don't think it necessarily took too much like away for me, but I was kind of hoping for something a little bit more, maybe a little bit just different. But overall, I loved it. I thought Weapons was an excellent horror film. I think we rated it like 4 stars on Letterboxd, which is definitely like one of our highest scores. I think, yeah, absolutely one of our highest scores. But yeah, what were your thoughts?
I think as a whole, I really liked it. It's something that you had said is horror films don't have to be scary from top to bottom. And I think if this film succeeded in anything, it created a roller coaster of emotions too.
Yes, totally.
It had its good measure of jump scares, but it did have those really wildly unsettling moments where you're sitting on one shot X amount of time, nothing going on,
You
no
didn't know
sound,
what to feel.
waiting for something to happen.
It's all calculated and purposeful.
It is, and it's especially calculated. But I think that is the polar opposite of a jump scare. But I enjoy more.
Yeah,
I like
same.
let it breathe.
Yeah,
Silence is golden.
let it like creep up our backs.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Was it a little long? Yes, I do feel like there was a couple of the storylines where it's like it was nice to know, but nothing huge or substantial going on. But I mean, I absolutely loved it. I love the original story. I like where it started and I like where it went. I think it had a really, really good ending. And
Yeah.
I was psyched on it. It gave me an ending that I didn't actually expect at all, which was really, really good.
Yeah.
So go see it in theaters while you can, because it's not going to be the same at home. It's going to be good watching it at home, but it's not going to be the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Weapons for sure delivered like a very bold, multi-threaded horror mystery, and it merged a lot of very sharp performances with that unsettling kind of atmosphere and just like that storytelling like finesse from Zach Creger. And I think that this like matters in like the horror world because it's also just like continuing to innovate within the genre. So like we're just seeing like more and more of this like experimental filmmaking within horror. And I think, Zach obviously very, very much delivered on that with Barbarian. And then we're seeing something like equally as risk taking in Weapons. And I think that that's like very, very important for the genre and for like our community. And he really rewarded listeners for being interested in this suspense, just what you were talking about. And this like emotional edge and like narrative experimentation, like it's just something that anybody could enjoy. Even if you're not like a huge horror fanatic, it really does take you on that ride from like start to finish. And I absolutely agree with you. I think everybody should go and see it. I can't wait for us to do like a deeper dive of this and do like a longer format episode, because I want to dive into all of like the behind the scenes things. What were the fun facts? Like I want to discuss more about this really coming to fruition. But for now, this is all we're going to leave you guys with. So thank you all for listening to yet another Fresh Fright episode. You can find us on TikTok, Instagram, and Letterboxd now at Spooky Chicks and Horror Flicks. If you would like to support the podcast, please join our Spooky Chicks Social Club over on Patreon. But the best thing that you can do to support us is honestly just tell another friend who loves horror about our podcast and get them in the club.
In the club, we all fam.
In the club, we all fam.
In the club, we were all family.
Yes, we are. And with that, would you like to take us out for Miss Allison today?
Actually, I'm going to give you the reins. I don't think you've had the opportunity.
Oh, okay. Watch out for creepy elementary school children. Be careful when Aunt Gladys wants to come visit. And stay spooky fuckers.